Oh God, I'm kind of upset right now. This is my upset face, by the way. I was so ready to recommend the Canon EOS RP to everybody. And I'm hoping that I eventually will be able to, because this is something that can and should be fixed with a firmware update in the future. Or they fix it up before the release of the camera, but oh my God. So first of all, I saw all the leaked specs and all that stuff, and I was like, this is gonna be a great camera. I'm gonna pre-order it as soon as it comes out. Pre-ordered it, recorded an entire video for it. Before I upload any of my videos, I go back and I just fact check everything and I make sure that all the stuff I'm saying is accurate. And that's when I found out the EOS RP does not do 24 frames per second in full HD. Come on! So basically, you can't use the full frame sensor and shoot 24 frames per second. If you want to shoot 24, you have to go into 4K and crop into your sensor. 24 frames per second in HD. I mean, the Canon M50 has that. This 80D has that. This G7X has that. Now I get it, the Canon EOS R still needs to be better than the RP. Like, I feel like the R definitely has some professional features where I would still go for the R over the RP if I had the funds to. Like C-Log, 10-bit output, the 480 megabits per second codec, 30 frames per second in 4K, all that stuff. I mean, I guess if you guys are okay with HD and 30 frames per second, you guys can ignore everything I'm saying right now. But for me, I sometimes shoot in 4K, sometimes I shoot in HD, but it's always been a 24 frames per second timeline. So yeah, I think I'm gonna cancel this order, and I would rather have the 6D Mark II, because at least that gives me a full frame sensor HD at 24 frames per second. Anyways, I'm basically done filming and editing this video. I still wanna upload it. So I'm gonna show you guys the video, but just know that from here forward, I recorded it all before I realized that it can't do 24 frames per second in full HD. That just never crossed my mind, because that's never been an issue, and I can't believe it's an issue now. I mean, I'm still hoping that this is kind of like a little glitch or typo where they just forgot to include it in the spec sheet that it's possible to do it. But yeah, I looked at some of the leaked spec sheets, and then I looked at a couple of reviews and websites, then I went to Canon spec sheet, and yeah, all of them say you can do full HD at 60 and 30, but no 24. How is that possible? My phone can shoot in 24 frames per second. Everything can shoot. Oh my God. Anyways, let's rewind and enjoy the video and enjoy my enthusiasm while I still had a little bit of enthusiasm in the RP. But I'm gonna go cancel this order. Oh, this, my friends, this is not the EOS RP. This is just the EOS R. But let's talk about this Canon EOS RP that was just announced. It's basically a way cheaper version of the Canon EOS R with less features, but way cheaper. So yeah, I just put in the pre-order, and there's a lot of things I want to test on it. It's probably going to be the camera that I recommend to most people, because this is my go-to camera for everyday YouTuber stuff and general video stuff. It's just $2,300. That's a lot of money. You know how much you could buy with that? There's a pizza place down the street that sells large pizzas for $5. How many pizzas is $2,400? 480 large pizzas that you can get for the price of this little body. And what, each pizza is like, what, 2 inches tall when you stack them up in boxes? So that's 2 inches, and then you divide that by 12 inches. That's 80 feet worth of pizza boxes. Imagine if you ordered $2,400 worth of pizza. The pizza delivery guy comes up, it'd be 80 feet. But this EOS RP coming in at $1,300. Holy cow. You're getting a full frame camera with Canon's dual pixel autofocus, Canon's color. And when I just put in my pre-order, it came with a free lens adapter, which alone is about $100. That comes for free, as well as a little grip on the side. I thought it was a battery grip, which I will talk about more later, because I have some complaints about the battery, but turns out it's just an extension grip, so it's just a little bit easier to grab. And I guess since we're talking about batteries anyways, let me just get this complaint out the way. This battery right here. I love it. It's an E6 14 watt hours, so it lasts a pretty good amount of time. If I just have a couple in my pocket, it'll last me all day. I still prefer bulkier batteries if I had the option, but this is acceptable to me. They are using the E17, which is used in some Rebel cameras. We're talking about a camera that's full frame and supposed to be pretty powerful, so that thing's gonna drain that sucker. So I thought the grip that they were gonna slap on for free was a battery grip because they realized, hey, this camera doesn't last very long. So I'm gonna have to test the battery life when that pre-order comes in, because I'm not a huge fan of swapping batteries. I mean, I guess if you're a photographer, you're gonna usually have it up here and it's not gonna be too much of an issue to just swap that battery real quick and keep shooting. But if you're a videographer, a lot of times you have it on big fluid head tripods or gimbals, and it's just not the easiest spot to access these batteries. Definitely keeping my eyes peeled for a bigger battery solution. By the way, Canon just let me know that even though I made like 50 videos about this EOS R, I've basically been calling it wrong. It's not the EOS R, it's not the EOS R that a lot of people say, it's EOS R. EOS R, not EOS R, and not EOS. EOS R. So I'm gonna try to start saying it right, but I keep saying EOS R. Biggest complaint about the EOS R was that the 4K does a 1.7 to 1.8x crop into the sensor. Unfortunately, we're still gonna be facing that same type of issue with the RP, but a slight less crop. It's gonna be closer to 1.6. The EOS R has about a 30.3 megapixel sensor, so all those pixels in that full frame, it's very tightly compressed, and they're unable to just resample the whole sensor and give you that 4K image. So what they do is they just crop into that sensor and just pull that resolution out. Good thing about the RP having slightly less megapixels at 26.2 is that those pixels aren't as tightly packed together. So when we do that 4K crop, we have slightly less of that crop. So basically it's gonna be like an APS-C size sensor. A 4K cinema camera generally has like 8 to 9 megapixels. So generally speaking, I think the less megapixels on the RP might be a good thing for us video guys. Let's talk about the body itself a little bit. We're gonna lose this top screen, which is fine. I kind of like it sometimes, but really not necessary. I'm not gonna miss it. And they're losing this little touch bar thing. Thank God. I think this thing is ridiculously annoying, and it's generally where my thumb sits, so I'm always constantly bumping it. I just had to disable it. And instead of 660 grams, it's gonna weigh 440, so it's gonna be a little bit lighter. Smallest full frame camera that Canon's released to date, so that's pretty cool, especially for vloggers. And of course, Canon's dual pixel autofocus, which is super sharp and super fast, so I'm happy with that. But the R still does have its advantages, including 4K 30. Most of the stuff I shoot is in 24 frames per second, but sometimes I get hired to shoot projects where they want 30 frames per second. So, you know, that's good to be able to offer that. Also, this has a really nice beefed up codec, up to 480 megabits per second. You're not gonna have that kind of power in the EOS RP. I think it's gonna be just over 100 megabits per second. So still decent, but you're not gonna be able to grade it as heavily. Also, this has C-Log built in, which is definitely a nice professional end feature. I can pretty much hand footage to almost any professional editor and say, hey, this is C-Log, and they'll know how to grade it and handle it properly. And I also love that you were able to basically record C-Log while viewing a LUT. So on your screen, it looks nice and vibrant, basically how it should look, but then you're recording a flat image so that you're not trying to expose and judge a picture and framing by looking at a flat image. The EOS RP does not come with C-Log, which is a bummer, but you can get third-party softwares and color profiles which you can install onto your camera and get a nice flat color profile that's very similar to C-Log or even Technicolor Cinestyle or whatever you want. But most likely you're gonna have to look at that dull image if you're recording. Also, this can send out a 10-bit signal to an external recorder if you're trying to do some serious color grading work. Meanwhile, the RP does not have these features, and if you don't know what these mean, you probably don't need these because these are more for professional workflows. Like honestly, whenever I'm doing YouTube videos like this, I have it on a neutral color profile and I just tweak that color profile just a little bit to get it to how I want it, and I do a slight grade in post, and I think it looks fine. So again, if I was just using it for my personal use or for my YouTube channel, I'd be totally fine missing some of those features. But it's just nice having that option in case I go shoot something for clients and they're like, hey, we want 30 frames per second, C-Log in 10-bit or whatever. Also, the EOS R has the option to shoot 120 frames per second at 720p. Not the best image ever, but it was definitely fun. I liked having that feature. You do not get that feature in the RP. So that's kind of a bummer. That is actually something that I really do like having in your everyday camera. But the biggest thing I really want to test is how good is that HD, and is that HD going to be as good as the EOS R, because that's generally what I shoot on. I'm shooting on HD right now, and I think there's a pretty common misconception that if your HD isn't looking very sharp, then you have to go to 4K. There's many different levels of HD because there's a big jump from this 80D HD to the M50 and then to the EOS R. So I'm always looking for the best HD because you can keep that at a manageable file size, and 4K, those files are way too massive for me. Sometimes I get this inkling to go, hey, let me just shoot 4K, and then I look at my hard drive collection, I go, hell no. Interestingly, these viewfinders have more resolution than these LCD screens themselves, and whenever I take still photos, I definitely still like the feeling of having a mirror and just being able to see what you're shooting real time. I like that mirror clicking. But with viewfinders this good, I could definitely see mirrorless cameras taking over. With the RP, you are gonna get slightly less resolution in the viewfinder, as well as a slightly smaller and less resolution in the display. But of course, these are all just numbers. So when the RP comes in, I'll take a look at it and I'll do another full comprehensive review on basically how it feels in the hands and how it looks to my eyes. Now, they also announced a few RF lenses, which is coming later this year. And the one that really sticks out to me is this RF 15 to 35 f2.8 with IS. So that's awesome. Like, this is the 16 to 35 f2.8 right now. Great lens, but I generally have shaky hands, so when I'm walking around vlogging, you can kind of see that vibration. So I just ordered the 16 to 35 f4 with IS just to get the extra stabilization. So I'm gonna test that one out for a little bit, and I think that might help stabilize my walking around vlog footage. But when this lens comes out, it's gonna be perfect because it's best of both worlds. It's gonna be the 2.8, and it's gonna have that image stabilization in the lens. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that lens doesn't cost like 3,000 bucks like some of the other RF lenses. But anyways, that's just about all I know for now. Wrong lens cap. Anyways, let's read some comments from my last video, which was all about this guy. This is a magnet powered gimbal, so no electricity, stabilizes your camera. This video is under 10 minutes. Who are you and where's the kid from Up? Dude, I know when I was rendering out the file, I looked at the time and I was like, oh my god, 9 minutes and 50 seconds. I only have to talk for 10 more seconds and I would have made that 10-minute mark. I wonder what people think as they see two guys running around with cameras out on the sidewalk filming each other. I have no idea what people think. Yeah, we definitely get quite a few stares, especially when we go out with weird contraptions like this. But can it balance my finances? Take my money right now. $0. Dude, that's how I feel all the time. That's why I open so many credit cards. Jeremy says my new Netflix and chill is Potato Jet and Chill. I'm pretty sure I binge watched 15 of your videos today alone. Jeremy, you seem like a very nice guy, but please don't associate me with your Netflix and chill time. Case Jacob says I like the blue background better than the orange, and I don't know why. There you go, Case Jacobs. Are you happy? Quick question. I want a cool color for that third row up there. I want to just mix it up a little bit. I got a blue. I got the orange. That white, little too basic. I want something interesting. Whatever color wins that poll, I'm going to throw it up there. All right. I'll see you guys later.